Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast, where we bring a unique insight and analysis behind your favorite teams at the collegiate and professional levels. I'm your host, Chase Shantz, and to my right, I have my co-host, Brady. What's going on?
What's going on? Not too much. It's been a long day, but this is one of the better parts of the day. You talk about some football, break down what happened over the weekend, and all that. So I'm definitely ready for that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is football talk. Love. That's really all we talk about on this. I mean, just gotta love talking football. And then obviously down low, we got the analyst Matt Ricketts. What's up?
What's up, boys? How's it going? A little tired today.
Mm-hmm.
Work's really kicking my ass, but get to talk some, football with you guys. That's what I always look forward to, baby. So here we come. We're on.
Hell yeah, man! Just the three of us. It's always interesting times when we're talking college football, NFL football, talking in other places. I would say it's always a very interesting time that comes out of it. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna not waste much time to get into this college football recap. The first part we're gonna talk till about 8:45 or so. About college football and what we saw week 4, and then at about the 8:45, 8:50 mark, we'll transition into the NFL and talk about some of the stuff that came from this past weekend and where I'll be going this week. So, we'll start off with the game that we obviously had all of our eyes on, Ohio State, Wisconsin, 52-21 final. Ohio State was rolling to start the game off, and I mean they were rolling. So, the floor is open. What were initial thoughts that were going on? I know Brady, you were at the game. Matt, you were at a wedding. I was watching the game myself. So, hey, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about what the offense was able to do on Saturday night, especially at the start?
I mean, when you're missing your best player and you can still put up 52 points against a team that usually has a top 10 defense in the nation every single year, that's a really good sign. And to watch us come out, fumble the opening kick, get on it at the 10, and just score pretty much immediately still was really good to see, to start fast. Cade Stover, man, would I have ever told you that he'd be any type of threat in the receiving game? No, I would not. But he's making his case that he might be even better than Jeremy Ruckert was last year so far. So he's been really good. Emeka Egbuka has arguably been the best wide receiver in the nation up to this point. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. has arguably been a top 3 to 5 receiver up to this point. So, it's nice to see them stepping in. Defense played really well. For some reason, Wisconsin kept force-feeding their best player the ball, even though we had our backup defense in. So that was just weird. But, we gave up. Our defense played even better than the 21 points it gave up, I would say. So that was good to see. And then neither starting corner played. You have Jair Brown and Ja'Kalen Johnson, 2 very young corners making their first start. Ja'Kalen Johnson's actually Jameson Williams' cousin. And they both pretty much locked everything down, so that was good. And then, like I said, offense was rolling. Mine Williams and Trey, that's the best running back duo in the country. Offensive line looks really good, especially against a good defensive front. And, I mean, yeah, hopefully JSN comes back, but I do want to address the fact that he may have already played his last game as a Buckeye. He may not ever come back. He might have a torn hamstring, so he might not return this year. And I really hope he does. I really hope this is one of those things where he, truly is supposed to be back somewhat soon. So we'll just hope and pray. So that's all I have to say about this game.
Most definitely. And I'll get to you just in just a second, Matt. Something I really want to look at with CJ Stroud on Saturday, that his average yards per attempt, get this, 10.4 yards per attempt downfield. He is trying to get a first down every single play with his arm. It's not trying to get it to playmakers and guys make plays. His arm's doing that, and obviously the guys are making plays. He had 5 touchdowns to 1 pick at a QBR of 98.7 on the 100-point scale. But that, and then Matt, the run game for Ohio State. Obviously, we talked about Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams being the best running back duo in the country. What did you take of that on Saturday?
I mean, excuse me, it's the best 1-2 punch in college football for sure. I mean, to have two backs that could consistently go over 100 yards each every game, it's huge. Mayan just runs with Ryan just wants to punish. Mayan just wants to punish people when he runs the ball. You know what I mean? That's what he looks to do. Literally delivers the hit every time. Travion's obviously, the big play guy that can hit a home run at any point in time. I think you need both, a little thunder, a little bit of lightning. Yep. So in terms of the running game, it's especially after the end of last year, we needed as an offense to be able to run the ball when we had to run the ball. And a lot of times last year, we couldn't get the 2 or 3 yards we needed to in short yardage situations. This year so far, against some pretty good front sevens, I would say, with Wisconsin and Notre Dame, we've been able to run the ball whenever we want. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I think that's huge. And defensively, same way. I think our defense really has just come and set. Got rid of that kind of the stereotype last year of being soft. You know what I mean? I think we're just not soft anymore. That 21 points, a little misleading, to be honest with you. And the total amount of yardage that they had is a little misleading as well. I saw a stat today on Twitter. They had 296 total yards, but 150 of them came in the final 2 drives of the fourth quarter when we had our scrubs in, or backups in, rather. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of cleanup yardage, a lot of cleanup points there. So I wouldn't necessarily, take into account that we gave up 21 points. I wouldn't necessarily say that was just who we're going to be playing at all. You know what I mean? So I'm very pleased with the physicality that we've had on both sides of the ball thus far. And to talk about Jackson's, I hope you're wrong, Brady. I really do. I think it's starting to really suck because I don't want to think about it very much. But I think there's a good chance that he's done. So it kind of sucks. I don't want to say it, but I do think.
I could tell that it was kind of setting in for you right there if that was what it was. But yeah, I mean, this receiving core is already talented as it is, and just adding literally, just hands down the best receiver in the country with that core is, takes it to a ridiculously another level. But without having on the field, it's obviously going to hurt quite a bit. But if you're seeing the way these guys are starting to pick up production, Emeka Buka 6 for 118 and 2 touchdowns, Julian Fleming 4 for 67 and a touchdown. I know you guys have that kind of battle with Julian Fleming and Xavier Johnson. So,
I won that battle.
By the way, Julian Fleming's a beast too. I mean, to be honest,
here we go. I told you he's better than X.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'll be honest. I think we can win a national championship without Jackson. So,
no, that's 100%. You can win a national championship.
So, I mean, not having Jackson really sucks. But so for me personally, I'm kind of just putting it in my brain that he's just done so that I don't have to worry about it. If he comes back, it's a bonus. You know what I'm saying?
I think if we have him in our starting lineup full go, I mean, our offense is better than last year. Now, I'm not saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka, I'm not saying they're as good as Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, but our line's improved, our tight end involvement has improved, our running game has improved, and CJ is a year older. Like, he's not
I think our offense is better than last year's already. It's not more
expansive.
I feel like
I don't think it's more explosive. I think last year we were able to have bigger plays quicker, but we still have the ability to make big plays this year. And our running game
and drive on down the field. Kind of
exactly. Yep. We're able to continuously, because against good teams, you're not going to be able to just hit big plays all the time. You got to sustain drives, and we can do that now by we're able to run the ball whatever the hell we want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really believe that.
It's an expansive offense to say. I mean, last year it was. You could do so much with it, but at the same time, when you're able to establish a run game in any part of football, that's just going to make everything else that much better. It's going to be able to, like the box is going to be closed in more when you're running the football. If you're on the football well with a closed box with a bunch of guys in the box, I mean, shoot, you DB's good luck is all I'm going to say. But
I was
guys we have.
Where I was sitting, I was right next to where Wisconsin's offensive line would meet after every series. And apparently number 50 had a rough night because everyone just had to come over to him and, like, console him and tell him, like, you got to do better. And the O-line coach was yelling at him and just everything. About the fact that we won that game with physicality and obviously, like, explosiveness too. I mean, we scored 52 points. But the fact that we were so much – last year we wouldn't have out-physicaled Wisconsin. We would have beat them for sure, but we would have just thrown it would have not been because we wouldn't have ran the ball this easily on them. But this game, I mean, we didn't have to throw the ball if we didn't want to. But we kind of, we still did because, you got to work on that. You got to still.
I mean, yeah, we had 2 bags over 200 yards.
Total,
I mean, just like our offensive line, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. It truly is. I mean, everything that we needed to fix from last year, we've seen to have fixed. Obviously, we haven't played, I would say, an elite team yet. But, I mean, we were doing this against the pussy teams last year, not being physical. And this year, we're really taking it to the pussy teams.
Yeah. We fixed – it's funny because we needed to fix the Tommy Eichenberg linebacker problem, and you would think we need to develop one of these other guys to be better. Nope. We just turned Tommy Eichenberg into maybe the best linebacker in the country somehow. So
he's fucking beast.
14 tackles, man. 14 tackles, 7 solo, and 2 for a loss. 2 tackles for a loss on Saturday night. Yeah. Huge night, to say the least. And Ohio State on offense looked really balanced. 281 passing yards from C.J. Stroud. And as a team, we ran the ball 43 times for 258 yards, 6 yards a carry, and had 2 touchdowns by virtue of Myron Williams, who averaged 9.2 yards per run, which is just
against Wisconsin too.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to do. And we're gonna talk more about C.J. Stroud in a little bit, a couple minutes down the road. But just kind of touch on some of these other games, other big games from Saturday. Kind of work our way back in time and look at Texas A&M and Arkansas. Arkansas had a chance to take the lead in this game late, but it looked as though it hit the upright. The field goal hit the upright when they were trying to take the lead, and just all bad luck set in for them. And Arkansas, I mean, they obviously lost. They went down 10 spots in the rankings to 20, and they have a date with Alabama this week, which we'll talk about on the show that'll come out on Thursday. But I know you guys didn't get a chance to look at this game, but both teams are running the ball pretty well. Both quarterbacks looked. They did enough for their teams to win, but obviously it comes down to some critical errors that were going on. But maybe another game that you guys were shocked by: Kansas State, Oklahoma, 41-34. The Wildcats come in and upset the Boomer Sooners. So, if you guys had a chance to go back and look at this, what did you guys think?
That's 3 out of 4 years Kansas State's beat Oklahoma. I think they just got their number, really, truly. Yeah. It's just one of those, it's weird. I mean, if they play 10 times, Oklahoma probably wins 8 or 9. Truly, it's just fucking every time they play, Kansas State just finds a way. I didn't break down this game, didn't watch it, have no clue. It was at the wedding and everything, so I'm not going to just give an inaccurate analysis on it. But what I will say is, Oklahoma's defense was supposed to be somewhat in recent weeks taking a step in the right direction with under Brett Venables and trying to have a little bit of an identity and be more just be a better overall defense than what under Lincoln Riley, what they had with them. But this is a step back for them for sure. Giving up 41 to a shitty Kansas State team that just lost to Tulane, I believe, a couple weeks ago or the week before. I mean, that's fucking – so – that's basically what I got to break down there, Brady. Dylan Gabriel, I heard, had a bad game as well. But, yeah, Take it over.
Well, actually, I'll tell you this before I talk to Brady. Dylan Gabriel he was 26 for 39, 330, 4 touchdowns, no picks, but obviously didn't make plays down the he didn't make plays down the stretch.
Joe Platt said he played his worst game of the year, so I don't fucking know. I guess
I don't know. And obviously, I didn't get a chance to really watch this game at all. But just going off the numbers and production,
right. I get. Well, his numbers definitely sound good. So I guess I'll retract that part. Like I said at the beginning, I couldn't give a fair analysis because I had
exactly. We weren't. This is a night game and everything. And Adrian Martinez, it looked like the 7 or 8 year vet at Nebraska, who's over at Kansas State now, had 4 rushing touchdowns on Saturday night. So he had a big night there. Brady, you got any thoughts on this game?
Man, so I obviously did not watch this game. I've seen a little bit of the highlights and stuff. Yep. But man, Adrian Martinez, this is his 5th year as a full-time starter in a row. So it does seem like he's been there forever, or been in college forever.
Yeah.
But I saw a clip where he just took off 50 yards and was flying to the end zone. I mean, he just ran right through the soul of that defense and scored. And I just felt like I really do feel like if I was an Oklahoma fan, and I would want to kill myself about this Kansas State.
Straight up, jeez.
About this Kansas State.
Crazy.
I don't even know what to describe it. Kansas State just has their number, like Matt said. I don't know what else to put it.
They just got the number, baby.
Exactly.
They got those digits. They got the 7 digits right there. It's fucking crazy. It's at Oklahoma. It's at Kansas State. I mean, they just fucking win. I don't get it. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. That's just how some teams are. Apparently, I mean, they see that team on the schedule, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to give it our best effort and not show up the rest of the season." That's just how some teams tend to play. And I'll tell you this was Tennessee's biggest game on the schedule that they circle every single year. Florida, it's their rivalry. That wasn't a rivalry because Florida won 16 of the last 17 times. But Tennessee got their revenge on them. And you look at Tennessee, they're back in the top 10. I mean, that's it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy thing. They're number 8. They're on a bye week this week, so we'll talk about them.
I love
Rocky Top.
Tennessee's fight song is sweet as fuck.
Yes, it is, man.
If you guys would have listened, if you guys were watching Game Day, I don't know if you were or not. You could hear they started singing Rocky Top. The fans, it's fucking sweet.
Yeah, I do enjoy Rocky Top. I'll be honest. It's a great fight song.
Mm-hmm. And I know you guys were obviously occupied during this time. I watched a good amount of this game on Saturday. So, I mean, when you were looking at it, Anthony Richardson, I will say he made some pretty freak show plays. I would say. I remember. I think I saw a play in the second quarter when he escaped the sack and then kind of made a guy miss. And then he just literally did this jump throw down the field and threaded the needle. And then his receiver was able. Hold on, I think his receiver was Ricky Pearsall actually. He actually made a really nice move and then trucked another guy and scored a touchdown, I believe. So, I mean, Anthony Richardson made a couple of really nice plays, I would say. He was 24 for 44, 453, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. His average throw was 10 yards down the field and an 81.1 quarterback rating. He ran for 2 touchdowns as well. So, obviously he was the scoring machine that was going on Saturday. And then Hendon Hooker, 22 for 28, 349, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He also ran for 112 yards and a touchdown. So he was in his bag on Saturday, to say the least. And it just looked like he was really doing a good job of distributing the ball out to different receivers. 3 guys had 5 catches for the Volunteers. He was just getting it out quick, finding a lot of open guys. He averaged 12.5 yards per attempt downfield. I mean, that's pretty deep, to say the least. So, so definitely something to look at for Tennessee. You guys got any thoughts on this one?
I think I really do think Hendon Hooker is making his case to be the best QB in the SEC. I think he absolutely has an argument there. I think the way he's been playing consistently while at Tennessee has been ridiculous. I mean, this guy puts up consistent big games every time they play. I mean, Florida's not a good team. I'm not saying they're a good team, but every time they play competition, it's a rivalry game, even though Tennessee has like 12 rivalries. So yeah, I think Hendon Hooker is absolutely one of the best QBs in college football. And Anthony Richardson, I mean, I really don't think he's that good overall, but you can see he has the potential when you look at some of those plays he made that Chase is talking about. Like I don't think he'll necessarily even meet that potential necessarily because he's already.
That's a lot of potential. That's a lot of potential to meet.
It's a lot of potential to meet. Like before that game, he hadn't thrown a touchdown pass this year, and then he went on and he threw 2 that game and threw for a lot of yards. Had a big game, but then he'll have boneheaded plays where he just throws it straight to a defender for no reason
because straight in the dirt.
Or straight in the dirt.
2 or 3 that were intended for receivers and just threw them straight in the actual in just the grass. I couldn't believe it. Well, actually, I couldn't believe it. I've seen before, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. But overall, I don't really see that from Hendon Hooker. He is right there. I mean, if I had to rank quarterbacks, he's going to be number 2 or 3. I'm just telling you.
And I think we might have to rank some quarterbacks next week since we're going to be really in October, and that's when the real football.
We're going to have to rank our quarterbacks again.
Yep, we're going to have to rank our quarterbacks here soon, and then we'll get some more content out for you guys for sure. Matt, your thoughts on Tennessee as a team this year? Is this Tennessee's year to take down Bama?
Oh, I don't know about that one. Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You got a bye week. You got LSU.
Yep.
Then you got Alabama. 3rd Saturday in October.
Yep.
Okay? So there you go. It's going to be a top 10 matchup. They're both going to be undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Alabama loses this week to Arkansas. But Tennessee's going to beat LSU. They have a bye this week.
Yep.
So I think this is the best Tennessee team I've seen since I became a huge college football fan, which was 2005. Okay.
It's a long time.
So I think this is the best Tennessee team I've ever seen personally. Okay. And they've had some really good players. But this is a legitimate challenge. I like Jeff Heupel as a coach. Hendon Hooker. They have athletes on the edge that can compete with Alabama and Georgia, teams like that. Like I said, now their schedule right now, like I said, bye LSU, Alabama. After that, they play pussy UT minor, some shit. You know how they schedule their pussies after their fucking big game or before their big game.
Yep.
So they play them, and then I think it's either the last week of October or the first week of November, they play Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay? And then November, they'll have Georgia, right? So those are their 3 games left on their schedule. But I looked at their schedule beforehand just because I was curious. So the schedule's lining up. I mean, they're going to get healthy this week, LSU, Bama. So I do think I think they're going to compete with Bama. I do think they'll compete with Bama. I'm not going to go so far as to pick them. Let's wait and see there.
Yep.
Because if Bama loses to Arkansas, I don't think there's anywhere in hell they're losing to Tennessee. Okay, Saban will have them ready. If they win this week, I could see. We'll just go from there. Okay, we'll take it by week basis. But exactly. I do think they are good enough to compete with Alabama this year for sure.
Without a doubt.
Rocky Top.
And one of the great fight songs.
Tennessee.
Woo! Sing it, Matt. Sing it. I'm telling you, sing it. But yeah, just looking at that Tennessee team, it's obviously a different team, different energy. So I can't wait to see what they're able to do coming off that bye, play LSU, like I said, and then obviously Alabama. 3rd Saturday in October, one of the rivalries that we completely forgot because it has not been a rivalry at all. Michigan, Maryland, 34-27. From Saturday. The game started off really weird. The kickoff bounced off the Maryland returner's face mask, and Michigan scored on a 1-play drive from 10 yards out. So talk about a start there. Looking at the quarterbacks, Talia Tungavailoa was 20 for 30, 207 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. JJ McCarthy, was 18 of 26, 220 and 2 touchdowns, and obviously the big part of the game, Blake Corum, 30 carries for 243 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. What was your guys' takeaway from this game? Because Maryland, in the start of the game especially, they looked pretty explosive on offense, and they did not look like they had many problems.
Here's what I'll say. My pick in this game was Michigan 34, Maryland 24. So it's pretty close.
They're very close. Yes, we have to recognize that.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
My pick was bad in this game.
But what I want to say is I think Maryland's a really good team. I do. I think, hot take here, Maryland is a top 25 team in college football.
Okay.
Offensively.
Well, is that really a hot
That's
take?
not a hot take. No
You don't think
offense.
it's a hot take?
That they're a top 25
offensively?
team? No, they're probably top 15 offensively, and that wouldn't be a hot take.
Okay, so let's say
Top 25 team, maybe.
top 25 team. I think.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
it.
Yeah, another Big Ten team in there. Yeah.
I think they're going to beat either Penn State or Michigan State. Okay, that's Michigan State sucks.
I think they beat Michigan State. I agree.
Yeah,
maybe Penn State.
I think people will take a lot of people that aren't in the Big Ten or that don't really follow Maryland will come away from this game like, Michigan played really bad. I don't think Michigan played great by any means, but I don't think Maryland is some team that just fucking, like they suck and they just gave Michigan a game. You guys get where I'm coming from?
Exactly.
I think they're a top 25 team. So I do think that Michigan's still really good, and I think Maryland's really good. And the receivers that they have are very talented. Demas, Jarrett, and obviously Talia can throw the ball really well. So my takeaway is this game was kind of – now obviously some of the shit that happened during the game wasn't what I expected, but in terms of like I said, it was pretty close to what I kind of thought the score would be. So I wasn't surprised by how Maryland kept it close and how Michigan kind of had the lead. Had a grip on it at the end, but it was still a 2-possession game. So that's that. And Blake Corum's a good running back too. Michigan can run the ball. That's for damn sure. So that's kind of my takeaway from it.
For sure. I mean, they, both teams pretty good overall, and also, I think we're gonna break down some more Big Ten games that'll be coming up. I know Brady. We're gonna get your thoughts though on the Clemson-Wake Forest thriller that happened, the final double overtime game, 51-45, where both quarterbacks combined for 11 touchdown passes and no interceptions and over 300 yards apiece. What'd you take from this game?
Honestly, this was not quite as high scoring as I expected it to be. Like,
really?
Not
you would have taken the over at whatever the fuck the score is, 51-45. You would have thought I was going to be higher than that.
No, or did I say that wrong?
Yeah,
no,
I have no idea. I remember you said it was going to be 31-30.
Brady said, I didn't think it was going to be as high. I thought it was going to. This game wasn't as quite as high scoring as I thought it was going to be. I was like,
we'll go back. Yeah, we'll go back.
The opposite way. I meant it was higher scoring.
It's been a long day. It's all right though.
No, you're good. I just thought that you were saying you thought it was.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I said the wrong thing. I really never even realized.
It's all good, man. Keep the thought going. What else did you think besides of that?
I thought that it was very explosive, obviously, and that Sam Hartman is a great quarterback. DJ played his best game as a Tiger for sure. But I was impressed with DJ. Really, not much bad to say, but their corners suck. My God.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate. That's the ACC for you. We'll say that, and we'll keep that together. Clemson does have a top 10 matchup against North Carolina State this Saturday. We'll talk about that on the next show coming up. Before we shift to NFL stuff, we have to bring out the two best quarterbacks in football right now in college football: Bryce Young, CJ Stroud.
Let's hear the breakdown, Brady.
Yes, give us the breakdown, Brady, that we talked about in our Twitter DMs. What's the breakdown here? Give it.
So we talked about our top quarterbacks before the season, I had CJ at number 1, Bryce at 2. I think I had Hendon Hooker at 3, and I had Anthony Richardson at like 4. That was bad. But I was just kind of projecting the. But anyways,
it's all right. It's all right. We all got bad takes.
Everybody's got good and bad takes.
I keep missing on the big frame quarterbacks because last year I had DJ. I had him as the best QB. That wasn't that crazy though. Like a lot of people
at the time.
I just like how you said it nonchalantly. Anthony Richardson, that was bad.
I'll just admit it. I'll bring it up because I'm not going to hide from the fact that's not a good take. But it is what it is because so far people are kind of split before the season on Bryce Young versus CJ. If you're an Ohio State fan, you're going to see CJ. If you're an Alabama fan, you're going to say Bryce. And then the rest are probably split. But so far, it's no contest. I mean, CJ Stroud has thrown for 16 touchdowns, 1 pick, and the 1 pick was during a 2-minute drill where we were just throwing it downfield. Bryce Young has been holding the ball, honestly, and not finding his receivers downfield at a great rate. I really don't believe he's that elite at throwing the football. I just don't. I think he's a very good college quarterback, great at making plays, absolutely one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and a great starter for Bama. Like he's a Bama QB, no question. But I don't know if this guy should have a Heisman. I don't know if he's on the level of a Kyler Murray.
I have no idea what just happened to him.
Like a Marco.
But hey, here we are.
You want me to go?
What happened right there?
I have no idea what happened right there. Keep going.
I don't know. But did you guys hear what was the last thing you guys heard me say?
Well, you were talking about how Bryce Young's holding on to the football too long, and I think the fact that Matt just wanted to move seats up and sit next to me was the thing. All right, keep going.
Okay. Did you? Okay, but anyways, I don't
drag me back to the bottom of the fucking screen. Get me out of here.
I don't necessarily believe that Bryce Young is on the level of some of these other Heisman QBs that we've had. So I just think CJ Stroud is above him. I mean, you watch a drop back pass, CJ Stroud takes his 3-step drop, fires downfield, and it hits the receiver right where he's supposed to almost every single time. And he's just shredding defenses without his best receiver. And I know he still has great receivers, so don't send me stuff about that because I know. But Bryce Young also has receiver talent. Now I know I'll agree that their receivers have been better in years past, but he's playing terrible defenses. Texas's defense is terrible, and they looked very average. I mean, very average. They didn't do anything on offense really the whole game until that last drive when the one guy from Texas for some reason just jumped at Bryce Young instead of just wrapping him up and taking him down for the win.
It was idiotic.
It was idiotic. And, they kicked the field goal for the win, scored 20 points on Texas, who just gave up like 40 to Texas Tech and lost. So, Bryce Young, still a great quarterback, yes, but does he even have an argument for being better than CJ Stroud right now? He doesn't. And do I see that changing once Bryce Young continues to play good defenses? Because CJ Stroud has already played 2 teams that year in and year out have a top 10 defense. So, and he's played, Notre Dame game. He played a nice game. I mean, I wouldn't say he lit up the stat sheets, but he lost JSN. Apparently, we changed our game plan. Still had a nice game. Made some plays at crucial moments. And then against Wisconsin, Stroud absolutely shredded them at will. So that's really what I have to say. I don't see Bryce Young really catching up in that Heisman race right now. I think it's really CJ Stroud at 1, Hendon Hooker at 2, and then the rest as of now.
Yeah, I agree with that take. Honestly, the numbers aren't lying right now when it comes to all that being said. So, I mean, good stuff. We'll obviously have to keep an eye on all that as the season goes on. Any more college final thoughts before we move on to the NFL?
On to Rutgers.
There you go. October 1st. What you got, Matt?
Touchdown, Bengals. Put some points up on the board and win the game for Cincinnati.
Bum, bum. We'll talk about that game in just a second, but talking about another Ohio team, the Cleveland Browns went and played the Brady's Pittsburgh Steelers, and they beat them 29-17. Thursday Night Football. That was a few nights ago. It looked like Cleveland was running the ball pretty well on them, as they have the boast of the league's top rank rushing offense in football. I mean, 171 yards on the ground off 38 attempts, and I believe they ended up scoring 2 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, Cleveland, they looked very efficient on offense. They, were getting guys involved. Nick Chubb was doing his thing. Kareem Hunt was doing his thing as well. Brissett, efficient, obviously. Cleveland looking on that side of the ball, but Brady, what's going on with Pittsburgh, man?
Not a good week. Not a good week at all.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really the only bright spot from that game was the catch by George Pickens. Honestly, that might
have been the greatest catch. That's top 3 greatest catch I've ever seen in the NFL. I'm not even going to I'm not trying to blow it up even more. I'm just saying it was.
No, that was nuts. I mean, he's a freak. Like he isn't that good at route running or really anything, but being an absolute freak of nature with the football, that making plays. There were the clips of Georgia's practice where he made some catch that was just as good as that, and it went viral, and it was just nuts. I can't even explain what he did in that clip. And then he comes and does this. That's crazy. Only bright spot of the game. Other than that, didn't play good on defense. We really aren't getting to the QB very well. TJ Watt's injury obviously hurts that, but Nick Chubb is just really good. We need to open up the playbook. Matt Canada's not good at coordinating offense. It is just not looking good that game at all. We'll move on from that, but we'll see.
Okay.
Not a great game.
Yeah, and we will move on from that one because we got to talk about this one. Dolphins-Bills, 21-19 was the score. Matt, did you get a chance to see anything from this game? And if you did, what were thoughts?
I saw Josh Allen fucking throw did you see that shit?
Yeah, Christian Wilkins. It was Christian Wilkins on the ground.
He kind of it was like a jab, what a punch, but he was just pushing it off and his helmet came off. What a fucking prick. Fuck you, dude. You know what I'm saying? He's on top of him and just fucking ripped his helmet off. That's fucked up. Yeah. I know this was – I bet you kind of kept a close eye on this one because we know who the mighty Cincinnati Bengals are playing this week.
And I hope I hear that song a lot Thursday.
You're going –
I really hope.
I'm going to be singing to you all day Thursday.
That's all good with me. I cannot wait to hear it. Wait to hear it.
The Dolphins – how about the Dolphins, man? Tua's playing really, really good football. Now, he's a little banged up right now coming into the short week. We'll see if he plays. He's kind of up in the air. He looked a little woozy when he kind of got up, stood up. They let him come back in, but shit, if that was me, I mean, that looks like he had something to do with the concussion. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's playing great. The Dolphins have a lot of great weapons. I didn't get to break down this game, like I said, but just from the the post game interviews and the highlights and everything. Just Josh Allen, it was an interesting game, a great game. I think these are 2 playoff teams for sure. Yeah. That's basically kind of my report on it, if you will.
Yeah, and we did a lot of talk about the Miami Dolphins in the offseason, talking about how Matt referred to Tua shithead at times. And I mean,
he's pretty fucking good, man.
He's playing good. I mean, he looks like the Alabama version.
Yeah, you asked me can he come back down to earth? I need him to come back down to earth this week. Will he do that? I was like, dude. For me, I'm not sold on him yet. I need more evidence. Like I said, I told you past week, I need to see more from him to really think that he's elite. But right now, I mean, fuck. He's playing
sky's the limit right now for this Dolphins. Yeah. They're playing really good football, to say the least. Brady, you got any thoughts from this one?
The Dolphins are a good team. There's not much else to say. Beating the Bills is no easy task. And I saw the Bills offensive coordinator go nuts. That was my
jeez, yeah.
take. He was,
lost his absolute mind on that.
oh, for sure. He was, he was not happy is all I can say on that.
Everyone's seen the video. I mean, that's
Yeah.
without a doubt. I would love to play it. Trust me, there's so many different memes and stuff about it. But yeah, I mean, you look at it. Josh Allen was actually getting pressured quite a bit on Sunday. 4 sacks from him. 42 for 63, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The Bills ran it for 115 yards on the ground. Miami didn't have a whole lot of offense on Sunday, though, which is actually due to something. I'll get into it. Bills, 497 total yards. Miami had 212 yards of offense, total offense. The Bills outgained them by nearly 300 yards. But here's the thing. The Bills ran 90 plays on offense. That Dolphins defense was out in the hot sun for 90 freaking plays. And the average, most teams would run about 65 plays in a game. Miami's offense ran 39 plays, scored 3 touchdowns. They were efficient when they had the chance. So that's something that I'm really taking away from it. They haven't really had a whole great run game, I would say, but it's obviously been effective at times. The 2 of the 3 touchdowns they had were on the ground, Chase Edmonds, in that regard. And time of possession, the Bills had the ball for 40 minutes to Miami's 19-20.
Wow.
But Miami was able to do enough, getting to the quarterback, had some weird plays that went their way, and their offense capitalized when they needed to capitalize when they had field position. So that's what I took away from that. And what I took away from this next game, the Bengals and the Jets, 27-12. Matt, you can sing the song if you want to right now.
Touchdown, Bengals! Put some on the board.
Win the game for Cincinnati. Bum, bum. Yep, there you go. It felt good to see him get back on track. It really did. Joe Burrow, 23 for 36, 275, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. We didn't have much of a running game, to say the least, but it looked like all the receivers were involved. Tyler Boyd, 4 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. They had the 56-yard touchdown that really put his yards per reception up a whole lot. T. Higgins, I'd say he's a monster. T. Higgins is an absolute – I'm not even going to say freak show, but T. Higgins gets the job done is all I'm going to say. Jamar Chase led the team in reception, 6 catches, but only had 29 yards. He was averaging 4.8 yards per catch. Sauce Gardner did have him in clamps. I will admit that, but, if the dude's going to catch 6 balls for 30 yards and get me a touchdown in a big win like this, I'll take it. I think they're going to be able to find some ways to move him around and get him in the slot and all that. The Jets were showing a lot of one high look and all that, so that means a lot of man-to-man coverage was shown. So we were taking some shots downfield, especially off play action. So that was really nice to see. Another thing that was really nice to see, that Trey Hendrickson, man, 2.5 sacks. He forced 3 fumbles. He was an absolute terror in the backfield for Joe Flacco, who looks like he's literally has cinder blocks on his feet and cannot move to save his life. I was about to say something else, but save his life. But Trey Hendrickson was getting around back there with 2.5 sacks. BJ Hill was a force. I will say it does hurt that DJ Reader, who has arguably been, I'm not even trying to say this just as a Bengals fan. He was in a world the first 3 games with Aaron Donald. He was one of the best nose tackles, if not the best nose tackle, the first 3 weeks of the season in the National Football League. A Pro Football Focus grade of 93. He got hurt. He's out for about 4 to 8 weeks. And that's going to be a huge blow in the Cincinnati run game, because he's the ultimate run stuffer. And when it comes to making tackles for loss and just plugging holes. So that's one negative that came out of it. And I will say the offensive line kept Burrow upright. 2 sacks only given up. Burrow did get out of a lot of those, I will say. He looked like his normal self, trying to make plays downfield and get out of the pocket and make some really nice throws. So that's really all I had to take away from this game overall with the Bengals. But this next game, the Baltimore Ravens, man, 37-26 over the New England Patriots. This was a very high-scoring game. Lamar Jackson, man, that dude is good at football, to say the least. 18 for 29, 218 yards, 4 touchdowns to 1 pick, had 11 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown. Talk about having him in fantasy this week. What did you guys think of Lamar Jackson, and where would you put him at in this MVP race early in the season?
Number one.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say he's playing just as good, if not better, than he did when he did win the MVP.
And even last year, when he was healthy, he was playing fantastic ball last year before really November time came through. But I mean, he's having an MVP start to this season, to say the least. And Mac Jones got hurt at a high ankle sprain, but he threw 3
He started doing the gritty. You see the video,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I don't know whose is worse though. I don't know if Mike Gesicki for the Dolphins was worse or Mac Jones for the gritty. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think Mac Jones's dance was better because he had a little fucking
he had
a little rhythm with it. Fucking Gesicki just ran over and started fucking doing it real fast. So I'm taking Mac Jones. That's my one. That's mine right there.
Yeah, but Mac Jones, I'd say his dance looked better, but Mac Jones looked kind of like a fruitcake or kind of zesty, I'd say. I don't know what the right way to put it would be, but he just looked zesty as hell when he was doing that. So
he did.
But he scored a touch. He ran a touchdown. Mac Jones ran a touchdown. That's saying a whole lot. But what are you guys taking away from this Ravens team, and are they the front runners in the AFC North as of now, with Cincinnati trying to make a comeback, Cleveland playing efficient football, Lamar Jackson looking like an MVP, Pittsburgh is, I don't know what the hell to say about them. Is Baltimore the front runner right now?
Yes, I'd say so as of now. They probably are the front. They're probably the front runner, and that's probably what it says in Vegas too, if I had to guess. Because but I'm not necessarily positive because I haven't checked that. But as of now, I'd probably say they've got to be the front runner at this moment in time.
Yep, Matt. What about you? What do you think?
I think. I think the jury's still, because I think Jacoby's really playing some good football right now, honestly. So I think right now I would say the Ravens, but it wouldn't shock me if the Browns flip the switch too, or the Bengals. Really, I think it's still a little too early to say who I think is going to end up winning the division. But of right now, I would say the Ravens are the favorite. I'll go with that right now. So I agree with you guys.
It is, we just got finished with week 3. You're trying to feel some things out because, you can see a lot of teams that go off the slow starts, or they just traditionally go off the slow starts and then they just kind of get things rolling. Or the Baltimore Ravens, who are a really good team in September, October. They're really good all the time at the start of the season. And, they've obviously ended some seasons pretty well. And obviously last year didn't end it as they wanted to. But yeah, I would say right now Baltimore is the favorite. But all I'll say is this: if Cincinnati gets the ball rolling, it's gonna probably be a 3-way fight, just from the fact of Cleveland's strength. The schedule is very easy. The Ravens, I think their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And obviously, Lamar Jackson doing absolutely everything is going to keep them in the game as well. And then Cincinnati can get back to speed.
Oh, I see. I see how it is.
What do you mean how? Oh, count the Steelers out, dude. I'm telling you, if they don't make a quarterback switch with Kenny Pickett, they're not going anywhere.
I really don't think it's Mitchell. I think it's the play calling personally. I really don't think it's Mitch.
Dude, okay. It's a combination of both. Mitchell Trubisky is not a bad quarterback, but for him, he's not going to win you games. That's not going to happen. If a guy like Kenny Pickett was to step in, you drafted him in the first round for a reason, because 1, he's a very talented quarterback. 2, he does things that Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Fame quarterback. All right, don't get me wrong, but he does things that Ben Roethlisberger, he's like 20 years younger than him. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben was old and couldn't move, kind of like Joe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he has an
advantage over Ben right now, in this frame of time. He's mobile, okay, and at the same time. What do everybody want when they draft quarterbacks? They want a playmaker. And if a guy can go out and make plays, then, hey, you got a chance to win every Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky does not make plays. That's all I got to say. He doesn't make plays. And then on the fact that, it also doesn't help that Matt Canada is not a great play caller. So that doesn't really help with that. But, And I'm not going to revert back to that Bengals Steelers Week 1 game because I could go on and on about, if this didn't happen and this didn't happen, you guys would be 0-3 right now, but you guys won the game. But the thing is this. I mean, if Pittsburgh doesn't get out of their own way to make a quarterback switch here soon, and it's not the fact that Mitch is a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's not going to win games for you. They don't make that quarterback switch here soon. They're gonna finish last.
I would agree.
Maybe.
I think it's time for old Kenny Pickett to warm up in the bullpen and come on out. I wouldn't mind.
And here's the thing. So, counting Pittsburgh out, people count them out and they exceed expectations. All right. But at the same time, we have to realize this. All of us, we've never experienced Pittsburgh having a bad season ever. So we're not used to it at all. The reality is this. The NFL is unforgiving. You can literally be hell, I don't know what the Bengals are going to do the rest of the season. If they're able to win Thursday, I think we're going to have a lot of juice and everything. But you could be in the Super Bowl or you could be in the playoffs one year and you could win 4 games the next year. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We have those 2 losses, which is not good to have these 2 losses, but we got time to bounce back.
Yeah, 100%. 100% got time to bounce back. It's a very early portion of the season.
You look at the Bengals a couple years ago, go from shit to the Super Bowl. You look at fucking the Jags. Right now, obviously it's after week 3. They would be the 2 seed in the AFC right now.
Which is wild to think. But, they're playing good football. We might talk about them in a little bit. But there's so much. That's the thing. We are talking it's week 3, so we obviously don't have a great picture of what's going on right now. But we're just going off of what we have and the trends of what way teams are going right now. So anything can happen. We could have a completely different conversation here by week 6, or week 13, week 18 we'll definitely have a completely different conversation week 18. But yeah, so that's very interesting. AFC North talk and all that. NFC North talk. I did say we were going to talk about the Lions a little bit, but they lost this week, unfortunately, 28-24. They lost a tough one to the Vikings, blew a 10-point lead to them. But man, I tell you, so Minnesota looked like the team that they were week 1 in the 4th quarter of this game. But Detroit, do not count these guys out. Would you agree, Matt? Actually, not would you agree. I know you agree.
I absolutely agree. I think the Lions still might win the division. Obviously, they got to win the next. They're probably going to have to win the next time they play Minnesota. But the skill that the Lions have on both sides of the ball and how their defense is coming, what's the word I'm looking for? Starting to evolve. They're coming into their own, having an identity. Jeff Okuda's playing some really good ball as a corner. He's blocked down Jefferson, Devontae Smith.
Terry. McLaurin had the best game out of all 3, but he still locked him down.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. They're kind of – and then obviously the skill positions on offense, I think, are some of the most underrated in the league, actually. I really do. I think coming into the year, nobody was talking about the Lions skilled guys, or it was it was kind of, a level below. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, Swift, Jamal Williams, Hawkinson, So they've got some weapons, man. If Jared Goff could continue to play well, I think I see the Lions competing for, just especially with how the NFC is shaken up. It's just not as strong. It's not even close to as strong as the AFC. It's just there's going to be some teams that are going to be vying for a playoff spot that nobody would have expected, put it that way, coming into this year. So, but I would not count out the Lions at all. I really like the Lions.
The Lions have been through the first 3 weeks of the season have been one of the top 3 offenses in yards per game and points per game in football. They've been scoring at will. They've been moving the ball downfield here and there. They had a 416-yard performance on offense this past Sunday. Jared Goff, look at his stats. He was 25 for 41, 277, a touchdown and a pick. The interception was the last play of the game. You just had to kind of get rid of that. Got sacked 0 times and had a quarterback rating on the 100-point scale of 73.1, and they ran for 139 yards on the ground as a team. Jamal Williams having the big day with 20 for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. This Detroit skill group is actually very underrated, to say the least. They've been really, playing up to they've been playing past their standard the first 3 weeks, to say. Brady, I'll go over to you about Minnesota. They've obviously had a new look when it comes to, throwing the football more instead of being a run first team. Dalvin Cook had a good game on Sunday, 17 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. But do you think Minnesota is going to be able to continue this success down the rest of the season, throwing the football and having the Vikings trust Kirk Cousins this much?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I think that, Justin Jefferson will, pick it back up. He doesn't usually have off games, but, he'll pick it up. Adam Thielen, getting him involved too. Kirk Cousins, I really don't think is that bad. I just think he has games where he's not in a rhythm. But there's games also, I feel like, where he's reading the field well, finding his receivers and throwing some good balls. So I think they'll continue their offensive success for sure. And I still expect, Jefferson to pick it up for sure.
Yep, I could definitely say. I mean, I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to look back and see how they can get Justin Jefferson involved, moving around the slot here and there, try to get some, try to fool some coverages here and there, and just really get their best playmaker the ball. So definitely agree with that. What I think we would have agreed on coming into week 3 if we did a pick show was that the Chiefs would have beat the Colts. We would have been wrong on that. The Colts won 20-17. When I look at it, I haven't cursed tonight yet, but I will say this: Matt Ryan looks and plays like he's old as fucking shit. Like, he cannot move. He won a game, but he cannot move to save his life. Like, he's so immobile. He just looks like he looks like he has like I don't know, like stone around his legs. He's trying to pick up cinder blocks and everything. He just doesn't. I know he was 27 for 37, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks, but golly, Matt Ryan cannot move in the pocket to save his life. This Colts offensive line is really underwhelmed. Jonathan Taylor only ran for 71 yards on 21 carries. The offensive line seems to be the issue. The defense did its job, and honestly, I think Kansas City shot themselves in the foot more than I'd say the Colts played a good game. So, I mean, you had special teams there. You had a new kicker in the game. He missed a field goal, an extra point. They tried a fake field goal, which just failed miserably. They had Sky Moore fumbled he muffed the first punt of the game, and the Colts got field position at like the 5-yard line. They just had a bunch of special teams errors, to say the least. But I'm not going to say is there cause for concern in Kansas City, but due to the special teams errors and everything like that. But what do you make of this Colts team that tied with the Texans, got shut out by the Jags, and somehow beat the Chiefs?
I don't know what's happening with it. Like, it's crazy. Like, Colts looked like a terrible team, and now they beat the Chiefs, who, have been considered a consensus top 5 team in the NFL up to this point. So, I don't even know what to say. Like, it surprises me. Like, I didn't even watch this game much at all. And I didn't even think about this game. And then I hear, the Colts beat the Chiefs. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, interesting. Like, I didn't watch it, but yeah. Like that's not what you expect from that. That's why I didn't watch it, because I had no interest in it because of the fact that you don't expect something like this to happen, and then it does, and you think you wish you kind of like turned it on, because the Colts have looked terrible so far.
Yeah,
based on what they should be. So yeah, definitely surprising for sure.
There's not a whole lot that goes around. It's just the fact that they've really been underwhelming, and
for sure,
tied to the Texans, shut out to the Jags. What's the appeal to watch this team on television? Oh, they beat the Chiefs? Maybe I should turn their game on sometime. Matt, I mean, we picked them to win their division this year over the Titans. The Titans are 1-2, but what's the thought on it?
Actually, I've made a wager. I bet the Colts plus 7.5.
Okay.
So it actually ended up being, I didn't expect them to win. I thought it'd be very close.
Yeah.
So this is this was actually the only NFL game that I bet at all this weekend.
Hey, 1-0, baby. 1-0 on Sunday.
But what I was going, I was talking to Caleb about it. Just the Colts. I think they're way better than what the fuck they're playing right now. I really do. I think they're way fucking better. Okay. I think Matt Ryan's playing like a vagina, big pussy, for no fucking reason at all. I don't fucking know. You're right. He looks like he's got fucking concrete in his fucking shoes, just stuck in the ground. Okay. I was really high on Matt Ryan coming in. Okay. I think their offensive line is just playing. The problem is you got to be able to protect a guy like Matt Ryan. You got to be able to. If you can't protect him, he's going to shit down his leg. Like he's like Brady. He really is. Tom Brady does not do well with. No quarterback does well.
I was talking about you for a second.
No. Tom Brady does not do well with pressure in his face. Now, no quarterback does, but but a lot of quarterbacks can at least escape and move. Tom Brady can't. Matt Ryan can't. Okay, they cannot move. If you can't protect him, he's fucked. Okay, the Colts have one of the best offensive lines in the fucking league. One of the best. Okay, they start protecting well, they're going to be fine.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So I think the first 2 weeks, I think the Jags are a little better than what we thought. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of just, I think it's going to take the Colts a little bit to get moving. Okay.
Yep.
That's the best way I would describe it. So there you go.
There's been years where the Colts got off the slow starts.
Right.
For reference, 2018 with Andrew Luck, they were 2-5 in the first 7 games, and they end up going 10-6 and winning a playoff game in the wild card round. Sometimes it takes time. Even last year, they started off kind of slow, and they, obviously lost to the Jags in the last week, but they got things going. And they got hot at the right time. So, just a really weird piecing together for the Indianapolis Colts. They have a big divisional game against the Titans on Sunday, actually. So that will see those 2 favorites go at it in Indianapolis. So that'll be interesting to look at. I'll tell you this, though. If you want to see in this game, you want to see 2 40-year-olds fail to convert, just go to a local bar. All right? Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Well, okay. Here's what I got to say. If I'm looking at these stats correctly, Aaron Rodgers was 20. Both of these guys actually didn't play terrible games, I will say, but it was just so hard to keep up with. It was 3 and out. It was a 4 and out or whatever. Both teams couldn't run the football to save their lives. It was short pass after short pass. Russell Gage had 12 catches for 87 yards. 12 for 87. He averaged like 7 yards a catch. Like, it was just short after short after short. And Romeo Dobbs, never heard of the guy. I mean, the first couple of games, he played a good game, though, 8 for 73 and a touchdown. That's still less than 10 yards a catch for a receiver. These guys are just throwing dink and dunks. But, hey, I mean, Aaron Rodgers finally got the upper end of Tom Brady. He's now 2-4 in his career against him. But he got what could be the final time they ever play against each other, that victory. So what do we look at when it's the Packers as a team? What do we look at with the Bucs? I'm going to go to the Packers with Brady, and I'll give the Bucs to Matt. What is this formula the Packers are doing? They run the football well and everything, but what do you think about them?
I mean, I don't think they have impressed me overly this year, but they've found a way to win. Obviously the Bears game, and then they found a way here. They just there's a defensive grind out football game.
Yep.
I haven't been that impressed with Rodgers this year so far, but I'll give it to him that his receivers aren't very good. So, it is what it is. But, as a team overall, I still do think the Packers have a very good defense. And I think their running game is definitely has potential to keep grinding down the stretch. So Packers definitely a good team, but I don't know if they are screaming anything like Super Bowl or anything like that to me right now.
Yep, they'll be relying a lot on their defense and the run game, especially Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon and Aaron Rodgers. Not making ridiculously huge plays, but as time goes on, I think he'll get more comfortable with his receivers. Matt, Tom Brady's 45 years old. He's old as shit in our book, and in the NFL standards. Their defense is playing great football.
Yeah.
He has like literally slim pickings of receivers. What's the Bucs look right now?
I think the Bucs are going to end up being a great team.
Yeah,
I do. Julio, Evans, Godwin, all out this week.
Yep.
Their defense is elite defense. Okay, I think when they get back, Brady will figure it out. I think the Bucs. I think you're looking at probably an NFC Championship team, contending team, just making it that far. So now this game, obviously, without their three best receivers, if they're healthy in this game, I think they win this game. It's just hard for Brady's got to have weapons around him. We saw Brady at the end in New England with no fucking receivers. How shitty that New England team was. Like we've seen the recipe. Okay, Brady's got to have somebody to give the ball to. So when those three guys are out, they're not their defense holding Aaron Rodgers. I know that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a ton of weapons, but holding Aaron Rodgers to 14 points anytime. I don't care who he's throwing to.
Yeah,
you should be able to win that. Your defense, that's a win for the defense. You got to be able to score 15 or more points. You just have to be. You understand what I'm saying? Like you got to be able to. And if without being healthy at the receiving core for Tampa Bay, it's just hard to get to manufacture enough offense. It's a good word. Manufacture enough offense to be able to score enough points. But if you told me that they were going to hold Aaron Rodgers to 14 points coming into that game, I would have said, okay, the Bucs are probably going to win. But like I said, it's just hard to without having their three best receivers. So I think they're going to end up being a really good team.
It's not a normal situation when your top three receivers are out and Tom Brady's your quarterback. I thought he played well for what he had. I thought both quarterbacks didn't play bad overall. It was just the fact that, from a fan's perspective, it was kind of hard to watch at times because it was just, 3 and out, short pass that just, didn't get past the sticks or anything like that. So, it took a lot of patience to watch this game, which is really hard to believe when it's a Brady versus Rodgers game. But that's just what it was. I think both teams are going to end up being fine. I think they're both going to make the playoffs. But that's definitely something to keep an eye on, see how these teams are able to progress the rest of the year. And here's this Sunday Night Football. All right. So this by far, I think this might have been the worst, like the most boring Sunday Night Football game I have ever watched in my life. And you saved yourself 3.5 hours of.
Well, I watched part of it. When I saw Jimmy G step out of bounds and go for the safety, I said, fuck this. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky very happy about that. That was, Brady, what the fuck did you think? I'll give my thoughts in a second.
God, man, this was brutal. I can't stand watching Russell Wilson play football anymore. He is not that good. I just can't stand it. And obviously, overall, I'm not just blaming it on him necessarily, but just overall, this game was so much of a slugfest, and you really weren't seeing too many explosive plays. Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously, stepped out the back of the end zone, just like Orlovsky. Right? What an idiot. I don't think either team impressed me at all.
Yeah. And I did tell Matt in our group chat that the Broncos would win by 1. I didn't say how bad.
You did say that.
I didn't know how bad the game would
be. You did say that. I totally forgot about that. You told me that. I was like, shit. I thought the Broncos were going to win too. I didn't think it was going to be 11-10.
Yeah, I tell you that. I mean, I would have. I don't know what the over/under for this game was. Actually, the over/under was 45 for this.
The under hit for sure.
Yeah, I would have said very close to the line, or a little bit over. I would say in that, I thought both teams would score about 20 to 25 points, but no, that obviously did not happen. It was a sellout crowd that paid $200-$400 for a ticket to watch an 11-10 game and having time gaps between touchdowns. I think there was a time gap of right around 50 plus minutes between the first touchdown and the last touchdown, which were the only 2 touchdowns of the night.
They should get their money back.
They really should get their money back. And the box score is hilarious. It's like it's like literally like looking at innings for baseball. It's hilarious. 7-0, 0-3, 0-2, and 6-3. It looks like a high scoring baseball. I went to a baseball game that had more scoring than this. 13-11 Reds Mets in 2021. I'll tell you that. But I look at this, Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know, like his numbers looked I don't know what the heck he was doing. I really don't. There were opportunities for him the entire night to make big plays down the field to Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, but he just wouldn't take him. And Russell Wilson. Whew, that was rough. That was really rough to watch, especially like the first, like, okay, let me look at how many drives they had. 14 drives. I'd say the first 13 drives were that rough. Like literally every single drive that he played was that rough. I mean, both teams had under 300 yards of offense. The Broncos as a team averaged 3 yards a play. 3 yards a play. The average is like 5. I mean, at least the Niners were averaging about 5 yards a play, but I mean, it was brutal. It was really brutal to watch. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, I've watched every Sunday night kickoff since December 21st of 2008. Panthers Giants back then when I was 5, and I've watched every single one. It's been insane. And I would say that in like game 237 in a row, this was the worst Sunday night football game that I've ever watched. And I will confidently say that. I'd say this one and Bucs Saints last year, 9-0 Saints. Those were the two, and I didn't really watch that game a whole lot. This was the worst game that I actually made myself watch. That was terrible. My eyes hurt going to sleep. I couldn't even sleep. I didn't even close my eyes. It was just terrible. They burned from terrible, just, you know, it was not really exhaustion. It was just a bunch of fire from watching that game. It was terrible. But this game, I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to this game either, I'd say. Cowboys, Giants, 23-16. It looked like Saquon was back. 14 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. But Cooper Rush, I mean, I'll tell you this, no rush for Dak to come back because Cooper Rush is taking this thing forward. 21 for 31, 215, and a touchdown. The touchdown to CeeDee Lamb, who made an impressive one-handed grab in the on the side of the end zone. When Dak comes back, should Cooper Rush be the starter if they keep winning?
Depends how much they keep winning.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, what
if they win like every game, then Cooper Rush should stay. Or maybe lose a game or two, depending on how long Dak actually is out. Like, because obviously there's no exact time.
How many weeks are we looking at with Dak?
I think it would be a total of about 4 to 4, I'd say. This has already been 2 weeks in. The Cowboys have the Washington Commanders this Sunday, and then they play the Rams the following Sunday. So I think they're going to go 1-1 and be about 3-2, but then they have a big date with the Philadelphia Eagles week 6 Sunday Night Football. So if that's around the time Dak would come back,
right,
and say the Cowboys go 1-1, does Dak win the starting job back over immediately?
Oh, shit. I don't know. It's a
weird situation.
I think he does. I think Jerry doesn't pay his guys to not play him.
Yep.
He's been that's just how he is. Like, he's been like that forever.
Yeah.
I think, personally, here's my biggest deal.
Okay.
I think they have reached their ceiling with Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I do. I think it is time to move the fuck up. Now, they paid him. They just paid him. So there's your hot take right there.
Okay.
It's time to get this motherfucker gone. The problem is
it's a way to put it, but okay.
Here's what I've been thinking about in my mind, okay? What team in the top – so say what teams – who are the 5 worst teams in the league? And who needs a quarterback and who doesn't? Because whoever finishes in the top 5 of the draft pick, you say, hey, listen, we're going to trade you Dak Prescott for that pick. That's fucking it. Try to shop that market just to see if they can get a CJ or a Bryce Young or somebody like that in a top 5 position. The problem is if you're a team that bad, a lot of them need a quarterback. So you got to be. You understand what I'm saying? I just feel like they reached the peak top that they can get with Dak Prescott as a quarterback. That's so. If it were me, I would tired of being a average Cowboy fan or whatever. I'd be wanting to shop his ass and get him gone. Personally, that's how I look at it. But the question was, is he going to be a starter? Yes, he will be the starter.
And it's actually good point that you brought that up, because if you look at, a couple of these teams that don't have really long-term answers at quarterback right now, or at least they don't think, Seattle Seahawks, they don't really have a long-term answer at quarterback with Geno Smith. The Panthers, I'd say, don't really have a long-term answer with Baker Mayfield. The Falcons, they drafted Desmond Ridder and they have Marcus Mariota, which was a very interesting move. The Giants, I mean, they're 2-1 right now, but how long is that going to keep up? I mean, Daniel Jones just got declined to his fifth-year option. You look at the Houston Texans, they don't look that good overall. The Colts have gone at every single year. They've literally had a new quarterback for the last 4 years. So there's absolutely no telling what could go on with that. And the New York Jets have Zach Wilson. So it's, we'll see how stuff plays out when it comes to, contract talks and all that. So that's interesting to look at. Before we get out of here, is there anything else you guys want to say that we didn't talk about from week 3? Anything that you don't want to go unnoticed?
Touchdown, Bengals! Put some points up on the board every game for Cincinnati.
Bum.
Yeah, that's the only – I don't know if every team has a fight song, but that's the only one I know other than the Bears one, which is Bear Down. I don't know why I didn't know that. I think I saw it on TikTok or something, but I really don't have a fight song to sing. So I really don't necessarily have any other thoughts other than CeeDee Lamb needs to catch the ball more.
Yeah.
For my fantasy team.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb needs to catch the ball more for my 0-2 fantasy team. Did you win this week? You lost this week too?
My team is horrible. Everyone I drafted that was supposed to be good ends up being terrible.
I feel you. You on 3 of my teams.
3-0, baby. Here I come. We're on
I put up 141 this week because it wasn't as bad, but I still.
Yeah, you put up 141 and lost?
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah. Hey, talk about fantasy.
Smith of Lamar Jackson.
That's a cheat code right there. Talk about fantasy. We're gonna have to get Jaden back on the show to talk some fantasy football here soon.
We do.
Get a good quarterly report when it comes to how fantasy's going for everybody and all that. So
he's not having the greatest season either. So we'll see. I'm not sure how he's.
We'll have a nice little therapy session when it comes to our fantasy teams and all. Because trust me, I need it. Brady needs it. Matt necessarily doesn't need it, but hopefully he does. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not in the league. So
Did you start Chris Olave this week?
Great draft.
Did you start Garrett or Chris?
I did.
Which one?
Both.
Oh wow.
Both.
Huh?
Hunter Renfro's out.
You're right. Yeah.
I'm starting both.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm starting both from here on out.
They're good. I'm not gonna lie, they're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got to get
Ohio State products. Yep. And we'll see if healthiness could stay like that. But man, another episode of Cut the Chase Sports Podcast. I think it might have been episode 60. I have no idea. I'm losing track of all this. But yeah, with that being said, Chase Yance, got Matt Ricketts, Brady King. We'll see you guys Thursday afternoon when we release our college picks for week 5. See ya.
See ya.